Jason Garrett's coaching contract has expired in Dallas, and in theory, anybody else who wants to hire him could. I don't think that's going to happen. Jerry Jones has said over the years if Jason Garrett was ever available, they'd be lining up to hire him. Look, that's not the case. And Jerry Jones made it. I learned Jason after the game one last night out there on the field. Apparently does that all the time after the games, hanging out with family, really soaking it all in. And it would be a stunner at this point if he's back. It would go against every message, every clue, every indication we've gotten from the Cowboys that they expect this team to do great things. They have put together the most talented team they've had since they won Super Bowls,
right,
and they couldn't even get to the playoffs this year. It was clear going in that Jerry Jones was using the incentive of an expiring contract as a carrot for Jason Garrett. It didn't work. And now, and Jerry Jones met with the media last night for a half hour.
Yeah.
He wouldn't talk about Garrett's status, but it became clear change is coming. The only change that isn't coming, there won't be a new general manager for the Cowboys because Jerry Jones isn't firing himself. Other than that, everything's going to happen.
Yeah, well, you take the Dallas Cowboy job, you're going to have to deal with the Jones family. Okay, it's not the worst. I mean, yeah, they're a pain in the butt, but they want to win. They got a pretty good eye for talent, and we've seen that. I don't. This is the worst part of this job for me right here is these little segments because Jason Garrett is one of the finest human beings in the NFL. He really is. You couldn't find a nicer, more normal guy. Did he do some good things in Dallas? Definitely did. But yeah, the time has come. It's just it ran its course. And you said it. The team is talented. I mean, you just watched the game yesterday. Troy Aikman's, he's saying it on the telecast. Yeah, this Cowboys team's as talented as any team in football. Yeah, they are. There's no doubt about it. But there is some element missing. And what that is exactly, I don't know. It doesn't match up, though, when you have a top 10 defense and a top 2 or 3 offense and you're only 8-8. That means something in the management of the game or situational football, or you lost the team
or pre-snap looks,
whatever it may be. Right.
That was the problem before this year.
Yeah, right. There was some issues. Hey, last week against the Philadelphia
Eagles,
went
right back to it.
Right. I complained to you, I think, off air. There we were in game again. It was no motions, no shifts. I don't know what happened. So I just think the time has come.
Don't feel guilty about this aspect of the job, though, because these guys know going in.
Yeah, I know.
Right? It's the John Gruden Fired Football Coaches Association. You either have been fired or you're going to be fired. Very rarely does a guy walk away on his own terms. That's how it works because the NFL is the ultimate zero-sum game. For every team that wins, there's a team that loses. They're not all going to be 8-8. So these great teams like the Ravens and the 49ers, they are fattening up their records at the expense of the bad teams.
Yeah, sure.
And so the bad teams are going to change coaches. That's just the way it is, especially with the salary cap. You can't fire your team. You can't say we're getting rid of all 53 guys and starting over again. You've got to keep a certain number of your players. The only thing you can do to make a major change from one year to the next is change coaches, and they know that, and they get compensated for it. I'm not saying we should be hard-hearted about it, but I also think we shouldn't be
I know.
upset about it.
Yeah.
It goes with the territory, and they all know it.
You're right. I mean, hey, listen, I knew, you're right. I hear you. I actually feel good about you giving me that speech. I knew Ray Lewis running into me at full speed was not good for my health, and that maybe I could lose an organ one day. Oh, I lost one. So, yeah, I mean, that's just what happens. But it'd be interesting to see.
At least you didn't lose a vital one.
No, yeah, at least not a vital one. You're right. Now I only get every sickness in the world and everything.
But I'm just saying, there are other organs that it would have been kind of hard to carry on without.
I lost my heart. But what happens with Jason Garrett? I think that's a real interesting conversation. I don't think he's going to be in the coaching carousel this year. I don't see it happening.
No. And who would hire him to be an offensive coordinator?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, eventually I could see that happening, and then he's going to have to go kind of reorchestrate what he does as an offensive play caller and kind of make his mark again, I think, if he wants to be a head coach one more time.
And he doesn't get the luxury of a buyout because there's no contract to be bought out.
Right.
We were talking about this yesterday, the possibility of him going to TV because he brings that Cowboys angle.
Yeah.
The problem is, if he wants to get back into coaching, he isn't going to say anything.
Right.
Because you can't go on TV and start spilling stories about the Cowboys and the Joneses and then expect someone else to hire you.
Yeah, right.
And then, you're going to spill stories about me after you're no longer my head coach.
Yeah.
So, the former coaches who want back in, former GMs who want back in, are for the most part useless when it comes to TV.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what they're going to say,
right,
and then when it's time to say it, they ain't going to say it because they know that it potentially cuts off their ability to get back in.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a very delicate situation, and it's not going to be the best for me. I think it's one of those situations. Take the year off if you're Jason Garrett. Maybe somebody hires you as an offensive coordinator, and you just go back that way. He had a good run with the Dallas Cowboys. Was a perfect no.
His best chance to get back in would be this Gary Kubiak, assistant head coach, offensive advisory type role.
Right.
You're not giving him the keys to an offense.
No, definitely not yet.
That ship has sailed.
I hear you.
Not in today's NFL.
Right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.